Success does not happen by accident. It is the result of the right mindset, disciplined action, and intentional control of your time. If you control your time and energy, you control your life. Success is not a sudden destination that someone stumbles upon overnight. It doesn't come from luck, rare opportunities, or a breakthrough moment. In reality, true success is built from something incredibly simple, small habits repeated every single day. It may sound humble or even boring, but it is the consistency in action that separates those who reach their goals from those who remain stagnant. Habits are the foundation of every result in life. The way you think, the way you act, the way you respond to the world, all stem from the habits you've built day after day. If you make it a habit to wake up early, read books, exercise, focus on what truly matters, and manage your time effectively, success won't seem so far away. On the other hand, if you have a habit of procrastinating, wasting time on social media, reacting emotionally, and lacking direction, progress will become increasingly difficult. Success doesn't come from one grand action but from hundreds of small, right actions done consistently. It could be waking up 30 minutes earlier to learn a new skill, writing another paragraph in your personal project, or simply planning your day ahead. When these small actions accumulate over time, they become the momentum behind big breakthroughs. Success is essentially the result of a chain of small but consistent and intentional decisions. What's more, habits have the power to shape both your mindset and your identity. You don't just do success. You become successful through the things you choose to repeat every day. Each time you choose to act in alignment with your goals, you're reinforcing the person you aim to become. Likewise, each time you skip a positive action, you delay progress and send the wrong signal to yourself about your own worth. So instead of waiting for inspiration or the perfect opportunity, start with the smallest of habits. Never underestimate the power of doing simple but meaningful things, like reading 10 pages a day, journaling, meditating for 5 minutes, or simply keeping your promises to yourself. Those seemingly small actions are the solid foundation that can take you further than any breakthrough or miracle. Success is not for those who work only when they feel inspired, but for those who work even when they don't feel motivated. And that is only possible when you build positive, sustainable, and disciplined habits. One small habit, when repeated long enough, will have a greater impact than any temporary strategy. That's how successful people create lasting change. Not through explosions, but through consistency. One of the biggest reasons many people fail to achieve success is that they live in a reactive state. Instead of actively creating the life they want, they let circumstances, emotions, and external factors dictate their actions. They wake up each day without a clear plan, letting the current of the day carry them through busyness, distractions, and trivial issues. As a result, they constantly feel drained, lost, and no closer to their goals. Living in a reactive state means life is controlling you, not the other way around. You're constantly responding to events rather than preparing for and shaping them. You act under pressure, not from intentional choice. In this age of busyness, where the noise of social media, news, emails, and notifications never stops, it's easy to get caught up in things that seem urgent but don't truly serve your long-term purpose. When you live reactively, you lose control. You're often late, working under pressure, feeling like you're racing against time. People living this way often complain that they're too busy, out of time, or can't focus. But the truth isn't a lack of time. It's a lack of priorities and planning. Reactivity leaves you no space to think deeply, no energy to create, and no discipline to pursue long-term goals. In contrast, successful people don't live this way. They act with intention. They begin their day with a clear plan and know exactly what needs to be done. They set boundaries, with technology, with people, and with their emotions. They understand that if they don't control their time, someone else will. They know that every moment spent reacting to the outside world is a moment taken away from their goals. Being proactive doesn't mean doing everything at once. It means doing the right thing at the right time. Proactive people don't let emotions dictate their schedules. They don't wait for inspiration to act. Instead, they build an environment, a routine, and systems that allow them to take action even on the lowest motivation days. This not only helps them move faster, but also gives them a greater sense of control and confidence. Escaping the reactive mindset starts with a small decision, choosing to be proactive. It's the choice to wake up and spend 10 minutes planning the day. It's the choice to turn off phone notifications during deep work. It's the choice to say no to unnecessary demands to protect time for meaningful tasks. Every small decision is a step toward mastery. If you want to change your life, you must change how you begin each day. Wake up with a clear purpose. Dedicate your first hours to your highest value work. Take action before the world pulls you in 100 different directions. When you live proactively, you become the one who creates change, not the one always waiting for it to happen. The biggest difference between successful people and the rest of the world doesn't lie in innate talent, background, or lucky breaks. The real distinction lies in how they act every day, regardless of emotions, circumstances, or convenience. Winners don't wait for motivation to act. They act to create motivation. They don't react to life, they design and take ownership of it. That's the core difference. While most people start their day by checking their phone, scrolling through social media, or responding to whatever arises, winners start their day with clarity and intention. They know what matters most and dedicate their best time and energy to it. They don't let emotions dictate their actions. They let actions shape their emotions. When they feel lazy, they still work. When discouraged, they stay the course. It's not because they're stronger. It's because they're disciplined. Discipline is the foundation of all lasting success. While the average person is distracted by trivial things, news, drama, complaints, winners protect their focus like gold. They turn off notifications, limit time on unimportant activities, and say no without hesitation to anything that doesn't serve their mission. That's why, while others are busy, they are effective. Another key difference is consistency. Most people start something excitedly, only to give up a few days later. Winners are different. They stick with the right things, even if they only make small progress each day. They understand that success isn't about short-term bursts but gradual accumulation through small daily actions. That consistency builds momentum. And once momentum is there, they become unstoppable. And most importantly, winners take full responsibility for their lives. They don't blame circumstances, make excuses, or complain. They act. They face reality. They know success isn't handed to anyone. It's built, step by step, by their own hands. This is why they keep progressing while others stay stuck. If you want to become a winner, you don't have to change everything overnight. You just need to start acting like one. Plan your days, guard your focus, stay disciplined, and honor your commitments, even when no one is watching, and no one is cheering you on. Because when you do that, you don't just change your outcomes, you change who you are. Taking control of your life isn't just about planning or working hard. It's the combination of proactivity, discipline, and intense focus. This trio is the foundation of any successful journey. Anyone can start a goal with excitement, but only those who truly control themselves can maintain momentum, resist temptation, and reach the finish line. Proactivity means you are in charge. Not your emotions. Not other people. Not circumstances. You don't wait for the perfect time to begin, you create it. While others hesitate, you take action. While some wait for inspiration, you build systems. Proactive people aren't passive. They anticipate and prepare, They live with clear purpose and act with intention. But proactivity alone isn't enough. Discipline is what turns good intentions into real results. On tired days, when nothing goes your way, discipline is what keeps you going. A disciplined person doesn't need to feel inspired to work. They act because they've made a commitment to themselves. They understand that big goals require time and repetition, not just action driven by emotion. Discipline is what separates starters from finishers. The final and equally critical pillar is intense focus. In today's world, filled with noise and distraction, the ability to focus has become a superpower. Successful people don't just work. They work in the right place, at the right time, and with deep intent. They don't let distractions steal their time. They create deep work zones where every thought and action aims toward a single goal. The combination of proactivity, discipline, and focus creates a state where you are the driver, no longer pulled by emotion or controlled by external chaos. You become clear, sharp, and purpose-driven. And in this state, you work at a level far beyond most people. Because you're not wasting time on movement. You are making real progress. When you master these three pillars, you no longer rely on luck. You stop feeling like you're chasing success. Because success begins to chase you. You become the creator of results, not someone who just hopes. And the best part, anyone can train for this. You don't need rare talent. You just need clear awareness and consistent action. Start small, plan tomorrow tonight. Limit time on social media. Build a quiet workspace. Keep promises to yourself. Even if it's just writing one page, doing a short workout, or making an important call. Every small step is a brick in the foundation of control. And control is freedom. One of the most common misconceptions about success is the belief that action only comes from inspiration. Many people wait for the right mood, motivation, or a special burst of inspiration to start working, learning, or changing themselves. But the truth is, inspiration is unreliable. It comes and goes without warning. If you depend on inspiration, you will never be consistent. And without consistency, you will never win. At the core of lasting progress is not inspiration, but discipline. Discipline is the ability to act despite how you feel. It's the strength to do what you know is right, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline isn't flashy or exciting, but it is the real key to achieving anything worthwhile. Successful people don't always feel inspired, but they still show up. Write, train, learn. Every single day. Inspiration might spark the beginning, but discipline sustains the journey. Someone may start a project with passion, but without discipline, they'll quit when things get hard, when they're tired, or simply when they lose the spark. Meanwhile, a disciplined person keeps going, step by step, rain or shine, energized or not. That consistency leads to breakthroughs, not fleeting emotions. Interestingly, action creates inspiration, not the other way around. When you begin working, even reluctantly, you'll soon notice your energy rising, your mind focusing, and your mood lifting. Inspiration isn't the prerequisite for action. It's the result of disciplined action. Winners understand this deeply, and that's why they don't wait. They act first, and let inspiration catch up. Most people fail because they believe they need to feel ready to begin. But the truth is, you will never feel fully ready. There will always be fear, doubt, and reasons to delay. But if you can push through that feeling and act anyway, you've broken through a barrier that most of the world never does. And that's where success begins. Discipline is not innate. It's a skill you can train. You can start small, wake up on time, follow through on a promise, say no to a small distraction. Every time you do, you're strengthening your inner power. You're building resilience. Over time, discipline becomes a habit. And when discipline becomes your nature, you become unstoppable. Success is not for those who wait for inspiration. It's for those who take consistent action even on their worst days. Winners don't need to want to act. They act because they've chosen to become the best version of themselves. Every time you choose action over delay, discipline over emotion, you move closer to the life you truly want. In today's world, being busy has become a false badge of importance. Many people feel proud to constantly say they're busy, fully booked, with no time to rest. But the truth is, busy doesn't mean productive. You can spend an entire day working and still produce no real value. And you can achieve your most important goals in just a few hours with deep focus. That's the difference between motion and progress. Productive people don't do more. They do the right things, at the right time, with optimal energy. They know not all tasks are created equal. They don't measure success by hours worked, but by the tangible results they produce. While busy people try to do everything, effective people carefully choose and deeply focus on what truly makes a difference. Busyness is often a clever trap. It makes you feel like you're working hard, but really, you're spinning in circles with repetitive, low-impact tasks. You check emails constantly, attend unnecessary meetings, respond to messages all day, and by the end of the day, you wonder why nothing meaningful got done. That's a clear sign of busy but not moving forward. Winners operate differently. They plan based on priorities, not urgency. They dedicate the best part of their day, often the morning, to high-value work. They learn to say no to time-wasting activities that don't serve their goals. They understand that time is their most valuable asset, and once it's gone, it can never be recovered. Productivity comes from focus and simplification. Instead of multitasking, effective people do one thing at a time. They eliminate distractions, create quiet space to think deeply, and make high-quality decisions. They use technology as a tool, not let it control them. They measure a day's success not by how busy they were, but by how much closer they moved toward their goals. A common misconception is, doing more equals doing better. In reality, if you do many things without clear direction, you're just meaninglessly busy. But if you do fewer things, all of them important and done excellently, you're being strategically productive. This is why successful people often appear less busy. Not because they do less, but because they do what matters. To shift from busy to productive, you must change how you view work. Learn to ask, is this truly important? Does it bring me closer to my goals? Can someone else do this? Then, focus 100% on what delivers the highest value. This is the most powerful transformation for improving your performance and quality of life. Commitment is not something you make once in your life. It's not a spontaneous decision, a night of inspiration, or a promise made in an emotional moment. True commitment is a choice you repeat every single day, sometimes every hour, even every moment. It is a continual reaffirmation of the person you want to become, even when no one is watching. Even when you're tired, especially when you don't want to continue. Success doesn't come from big, one-time decisions. It comes from keeping your word to yourself in the small things. Consistently, day after day, you commit to waking up early, to working on time, to staying focused even when unmotivated, to not letting emotions run your actions. And you do it again and again, without stopping. This is where discipline meets commitment, and where change truly begins. Commitment isn't a feeling. It doesn't depend on your mood, environment, or circumstances. It's a conscious decision that you will continue, with or without inspiration. Winners understand that commitment is not always easy, but it's always necessary. So they don't ask, "Do I feel like doing this today?" They ask, "What did I commit to? And how will I honor it?" The power of commitment lies not in one-time action but in intentional repetition. Every time you keep a small promise to yourself, you strengthen your self-trust. You prove that you can rely on yourself. And from that confidence, you build a solid inner strength, one that no one can take from you. The biggest challenge in growth isn't a lack of talent, but the inability to keep showing up on bad days. when tired, discouraged, or when things go wrong. Most people give up. Winners don't. They know emotions are temporary, but goals are long-term. So they hold on to their commitment as if every day is a fresh beginning. And they never renegotiate with their dreams. You can start with a perfect plan. But if you don't recommit to it daily, it remains just a forgotten idea. Real transformation begins not with a powerful morning, but with the mornings when you feel like crap, and still take action. When you can push through laziness, procrastination, and 100 excuses swirling in your mind. That's when you know you're truly moving forward. Daily commitment doesn't require perfection. It requires presence. Show up. Do what you promised. Even if it's not done perfectly. Sometimes it's about staying in rhythm. Sometimes just repeating the habit. Sometimes just saying, I'm still here. I haven't quit. That builds strength. That sets you apart. Because the crowd only commits when they feel good. Winners commit even when they feel bad. And that's why they win. One of the most powerful forces successful people possess isn't raw talent. It's momentum. And momentum doesn't come from luck or sudden bursts of inspiration. It's built deliberately through the combination of discipline and consistent action. When you act without waiting for motivation. When you keep moving forward every single day. When you refuse to stop because of feelings. You begin to build momentum. And it makes you unstoppable. Momentum is that state where you work with ease. Where you no longer need to push yourself. Each action leads to the next. Every small win boosts your confidence and energy. Each completed day brings you closer to your dream. With momentum, you no longer depend on motivation. Your actions become the source of your motivation. But momentum cannot exist without discipline. Discipline is the loyal companion that helps you act even on your darkest days. When you feel like quitting, discipline keeps you going. When you doubt yourself, discipline holds you steady. And as you keep acting despite how you feel, momentum starts to build. Slowly at first, but steadily. You might not notice it immediately. But one day, you'll realize, you're moving forward faster than ever. Most people never experience momentum because they don't stick with it long enough. They start, then stop. They have a few productive days, then fall into procrastination. They're impatient, and that kills momentum before it forms. Meanwhile, winners understand that as long as they keep showing up, not perfectly, but consistently, momentum will naturally follow. And once it's there, everything gets easier. Momentum fuels confidence and excitement. You look back and see your progress. Not from random bursts of effort, but from steady perseverance. That builds a deep trust in yourself. I can keep going. I can go even further. This mindset becomes your fuel. And before you know it, you're moving with unstoppable force. More importantly, momentum helps you stay in action, avoiding the exhausting cycle of starting over. You don't need to regain rhythm each morning, or battle your mind to begin. You simply keep moving, because it has become your norm. This consistency shapes a new identity. You become someone who always moves forward. To build momentum, you don't need to do something huge. You just need to start and not stop. Small actions every day. Writing a few lines. Reading a few pages. Completing a key task. Are the bricks of momentum. And as momentum builds, results multiply. What was once hard becomes effortless. What once felt far away becomes achievable. And here's the secret: once you have momentum, you become unstoppable. You no longer struggle to begin. You just maintain rhythm. You no longer have to convince yourself, because you've already seen results. You no longer fear failure, because you know each step counts. And when you live in that state, everything in your life begins to change. Among all the resources you possess, money, talent, relationships, health, nothing is more valuable than time. Money can be earned again. Opportunities can come again. Even failures can be corrected. But time, once it passes, never returns. That's why the most successful people guard their time as if their life depends on it. Because it truly does. Every minute you use is a non-refundable investment. You can waste time on meaningless things. Or you can invest it in creating value, learning, health, or progress. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck isn't in the number of hours in a day. Everyone has 24 hours. But in how they use each one. Most people don't lack time. They lack awareness and discipline in how they use it. They let phones, social media, fleeting emotions, and other people consume their precious hours. They react instead of act. They postpone what matters to chase short-term comfort. Then they wonder why they're not progressing, why they feel stuck, and why life feels out of control. Winners operate differently. They know time is a finite resource. So they use it with the precision of a surgeon wielding a scalpel. They plan each day, eliminate unnecessary activities, and focus relentlessly on what truly moves them forward. They don't get distracted by things that seem urgent but aren't important. They understand that every passing hour is one they'll never get back. And that makes them value it above all else. How you use your time is how you live your life. If you constantly waste time, you are wasting your life. If you spend your time on petty tasks, negative people, or toxic habits, you're trading your future for short-term comfort. But if you invest your time in self-growth, learning, action, and nurturing positive relationships, you're building a bright future. None of us knows how much time we have left in this world. And that uncertainty makes time so incredibly precious. Every day you wake up is a gift. Every hour is a chance to create something meaningful. Don't waste it. Don't let others control it. Don't live a single day just to get through it. Live with intention. Be selective about what you allow into your schedule. Set clear boundaries with distractions. Keep asking yourself, is this really important? Does it move me closer to my goals? And if the answer is no, have the courage to eliminate it. That's how you reclaim your time. And when you master your time, you master your life. In a world filled with noise, distractions, and multitasking, intentional and focused work has become an invaluable competitive advantage. Not talent, not opportunity, not luck, but the ability to focus and act with intention is the true foundation of lasting success. Anyone can be busy, but not everyone can focus. Anyone can work, but not everyone works with purpose. Working with intention means knowing exactly why you're doing what you do. Every action is not a reflex, but a thoughtful step forward. You don't act because everyone else is doing it, but because it serves the specific goal. You don't rush through your to-do list. Instead, you identify what matters most and channel your full energy into it. Intention helps you do less, but achieve more. It keeps you moving forward in the right direction, instead of running in circles. Focus is the silent guardian of productivity. In a world where a single swipe opens thousands of distractions, focus has become a rare skill. Deep focus, uninterrupted, undistracted, laser-like, is a prerequisite for meaningful output. Successful people don't just sit at their desks. They immerse themselves in the task. Block out all noise, and truly think deeply. That's where creativity, solutions, and breakthroughs are born. Both intention and focus are choices you make every day. You can choose to let your schedule fill up with unimportant tasks, or you can design it around your bigger mission. You can choose to react to every phone notification, or you can silence distractions and dive into deep work. These small daily choices are where success is forged. Not in flashy moments, but in clarity and consistency. When you work with intention and focus, you make every hour count. Instead of spending 8 hours being busy, you can achieve important outcomes in 3 hours, leaving the rest for family, self-growth, rest, or creativity. It's not about working more, but working smarter. Successful people don't try to squeeze more time. They guard their focus like treasure. No real success comes from chaos and hurry. It all starts with a solid foundation, knowing exactly what you're doing, why you're doing it, and giving it your full attention. Intention gives direction. Focus gives power. Together, they create peak productivity and exponential growth. Never underestimate the value of one focused, purposeful hour. Don't let yourself be pulled in 100 directions. Because if you don't control your attention, someone else will. And when your attention is scattered, so is your life. But when you master your attention, you also master your future. Thank you for watching the video. I hope these insights have brought value and inspiration to your personal growth journey. If you found it helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more empowering content. Stay consistent, keep growing, and keep winning.